And welcome back to the Graybeard Podcast. I'm Jim, and with me this evening, I'm going to tell you, in the world we live in right now, before I introduce this young man, uh, finances are probably not on the top of everybody's mind, but they should be. And the way the economy is right now, again, he could be our new superhero. Everybody, welcome Bruce Breedlove.
Great to be here. Great to be here. What an intro.
Yeah,
Superhero.
just right off the top of off the cuff,
Right
man.
off the dome.
Well, I mean, for real though. I mean, I say that in jest, but it's like also literally anybody that can help other people with finances, man, is like, dude. I mean, because I'm gonna tell you right now, and we're not gonna get into my finances. We can do that
well,
offline.
we could. This will be the great a great area to do it.
I don't want to do that. I can tell you, I am not the best with finances, and I've watched a lot of your videos, and I'm like, everything you would be saying, like, I'm just going, shit, I did that.
That's the point of them.
Yeah. I just cringe at the stupid crap I've done. But for someone like myself, I have done what I had to do to get to where I am. Like I was literally about 8 or 9 years ago, I was homeless. After a 20-year marriage, you just, and then you're homeless and you have nothing but debt.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm happy and grateful to be where I'm at now.
Good job, man.
Owning a home.
Good job.
So at any rate, enough about me. Let's talk about you.
Yeah.
Little Johnny Bravo. Okay, first of all, how old are you?
I'm 36.
36.
36,
So I'm good in saying young man. Because anybody younger than me, you're a young man.
I'll take it while I can get it.
Take it while you can get it. You still get carded?
Enough.
Anyways, man. So how did you get into? Well, okay. I got too many questions. They're piling up in my brain. Let's start with what it is exactly that you do.
Yeah, that's a good place to start. So I started a company called Align Money Mastery, and so the story and the origin of the company is really grounded in me, and we can get into like how I grew up. But there is, in the social media age, there is a lot of information out there. Okay, you can, when I'm sitting on the toilet, I'm seeing 3 new investment ideas that people are posting about, and that's supposed to be the greatest thing ever. So there's an abundance of information, and the cool thing about being successful with money is like if you budget and command your money and tell it what to do before it comes in, it alleviates a lot of your problems.
Mm-hmm.
So we teach people how to manage every single dollar. Okay, we meet with them on a monthly basis, and we have a very specific zero-based budgeting software that we use called Monarch Money. It's not ours, it's just what we use.
Yeah.
And we sit with people and we take them through the algorithm that we have that we've determined with a lot of data is the best way to manage money. Mm-hmm. And we walk with you month after month, helping you manage every dollar and helping you hit those goals. And that's where it starts. If you manage money well, everything else flows from that. Mm-hmm. Investing flows from that. Financial independence flows from that. And we simplify the noise that's out there with managing money. And really take it back to the basics, and then just walk with you and provide accountability doing that.
Yeah. When did you get into, like, what brought you to this point where you're at?
Yeah, and so the company, again, Align Money Mastery, was formed out of my life experiences. So like many things, I identified a need, and I realized that I had the experience to fill the need, and here we are. So I unfortunately grew up with parents that really couldn't provide for us, alcohol issues, drug issues. So I grew up very quickly. And when I turned 13, I no longer lived with my parents. I bounced around house to house to house, and I ended up moving out on my own at 17.
Really?
So I was still in high school. I lived in Ohio at this time. 17 years old, I had $600 to my name. And, I bought a ratchety old car that was falling apart. Literally, I was still in high school. Worked at Dairy Queen. And I got a free attic apartment from an ex-girlfriend's sister. And I remember the first night I laid in that bed, I was just like, this is a crossroads. I can either become like my parents and completely fail myself and everyone around me, or I can do whatever I can to not do that. It's pretty, oversimplified decision. And in that moment, there was just maybe divine knowledge that being successful in this world involved understanding money. Mm-hmm. And so, as I mentioned, even back then, YouTube was just in its infancy back then, but I learned everything that I needed to learn with podcasts and YouTube and reading books. And, so I just had a good head on my shoulders and just started budgeting at the age of 17.
Wow.
At this time, there was a software that was free called mint.com. And you just link all your accounts and all your stuff is there. And I just budgeted every month. And that was 18 years ago. And I became a millionaire at 32.
Damn.
Multimillionaire last year. Thank you.
Congratulations.
So, and literally just managing money, investing over time, and doing it, just month after month after month. And then when you zoom out and you see the net worth screen, which your net worth is everything that you own minus what you owe, and that's really your scoreboard, your financial scoreboard. When you zoom out and look at the growth, it's just because of intentionality, month after month after month, managing money well, delaying pleasure, and then when in my 20s, I went to college. I went to the University of Akron. I graduated as a nurse. Maybe you didn't know that about me.
I did not know that about
so
you.
I became a BSN RN at age 21, and I worked at the hospital. I worked on a heart failure floor, and I was already doing this for a couple of years, worked my way through college. And then I realized in my early 20s when I was working with adults who've been in the workforce for 10, 15, 20, 25 years, and they're talking about all the financial troubles they're having. I'm like, I'm making more money than I've ever made. I don't know what to do with it all. I'm just sitting here like budgeting and maxing out my 401k. And so nurses work long hours, 12 hours. And so overnight.
Take call and all that stuff.
Yeah. So and I was picking up I was 21. I didn't have anything else to do. I was just working my ass off. So I just would sit with people at night and like help, just budget with them or like talk about money or like reallocate their 401k on the computer. And I just did that for like a decade. And was a nurse. I moved down to Florida, was a nurse at Mayo Clinic. And then I got busy enough between my personal and work life that I'm like, I'm going to stop helping people for free just because I would sit with someone for 3-4 hours at Starbucks and make them a budget and help them sign into all their accounts and like really help them, but they would do none of it. So I'm like, I'm wasting my own time at this point. So, and people valued my time as much as they paid for it, which was not at all, right?
Correct.
Nothing. So they were paying nothing. So I stopped just helping people. And then randomly, and this guy, Clay Manley, gets so many shout outs every time I'm asked this question. He I was investing in real estate, and we can talk about that during COVID when money was free basically. And a mutual friend reached out and was like, hey, I see what you guys are doing. Like, can you teach me? I'm like, sure. I sent him a quick email. Like, I'll teach you this. It'll cost you $750. And he Venmo'd me right there. And I'm like, dang, we have a business.
Yeah.
So Align was born out of me just genuinely caring about people and wanting them to win and realizing that I have a tool that literally everybody needs. And no matter where you are in the financial continuum, like we have customers who have a negative net worth of tens of thousands of dollars. We have customers who have their net worth is 10 or 20 million. That's not an exaggeration. And they all share similar issues is that they can't manage money. It's not how much you have, it's how you manage it.
Right.
And so, and then fast forward to now, and I'll shut up. We've helped
Keep going.
121 families since inception. We started Align January of 2023.
Okay.
And since inception, we've helped 121 families.
That's awesome.
We've helped them pay off $866,000 of debt so far, invest about $7 million, and some other stats we keep track of. But we've really made a lot of difference in people's lives, and that's not even including like, if you learn how to manage money and then you get in a relationship with someone and you do it in a healthy way and you have kids and then you teach them and like just think of like the generational impact.
Oh yeah.
That I could have in my life just knowing this thing that I've just been practicing for 18 years.
I know at least 3 adults in this house alone that could probably use your help.
Wait, there's only 3 adults in the house, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, that live here. Myself, my girlfriend, and my youngest daughter.
Oh, yeah. Oh, especially. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like anybody, I'm sure you run into like the people that come to you, it's just not stress from finances is there, but it's not the answer, like, or what they're supposed to be doing is not like right. Like they're in their forethought all the time. You don't think about it all the time. You're like, what am I going to do? And you feel trapped or underwater. Yeah. And, there's been times for me where I'm like, oh God, am I going to be able to make mortgage or whatever? And I always figure it out. It's not a big deal, but I know that there are people like, is there even a middle class anymore? But I mean,
yeah, there is.
But they come to you and they're like, I don't know what to do. Help me, Obi-Wan. So it's, I imagine that is extremely helpful to those people. Even the people with lots of money, like you said,
Yeah.
they got all this money, they just don't know how to manage it. You
Yeah.
know, oh God, there we go. I had all that to lead up to a question I forgot, but
You're talking about having, no matter how much money you have, and you know how to
yeah,
manage it.
yeah.
Something related to that.
Well, okay. So what? How do you? You're not in there like doing this for them. You're teaching them.
No, we do it. We do it for. I mean, we never have access to your account, so you
Okay.
never give us access. You know, we never log in or. So let's say you wanted to start working with us, right?
Yeah.
So we do what's called a financial audit.
Okay.
And financial audit is a 30-minute meeting that's free for literally everybody to do. It's 30 minutes with us where you tell us all about your finances. The more specific you can get with your numbers, the better, because then I can give you better advice. And at the end of the 30 minutes, we tell you kind of how, if we woke up in your shoes, what we would do, and then how we help and how our company works. And if you choose to work with us, amazing. If not, then good luck.
Right.
There's never been someone I haven't met that I met that I couldn't help in some way. Plenty of people that have heard what we do and they're like, nah, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
They don't want the accountability or whatever. But let's say you sign up. Our online coaching program is $100 a month, and it's subscription based. You never sign a contract. It's auto deducted from your account once a month. It's never more than that for coaching. So we send you the link to register for Monarch Money, that app we use, and you link all your accounts. And then the first meeting with us is like setting up your Monarch, getting it all right, making sure everything's linked properly. And then we have a very specific process by like finding every dollar, putting it where it needs to be, and then just budgeting, right? And then following our very specific algorithmic process about how we think about every single dollar and where to put it in order.
Have people jumped out of the program and just like you said, they just don't want to take the accountability, or it's too hard for them, or whatever the case may be?
It's not. What's funny is we have a lot of. We started just helping people who I knew on social media and who had reached out in the past and like, hey, we have this thing now. And we've carved out interesting niches of the business, which I did not expect and didn't start out intending there to be. One interesting niche is retirees. So retirees who have worked their entire lives, saved, invested, and then they get to like 62, and everyone thinks that there's this magic age where you can retire.
No.
There are some milestones like 59 and a half where you can use your traditional retirement accounts, Roth IRA, traditional IRA, 401k. Then there's 62 where you can start getting Social Security.
Okay.
But then the government tells us, oh, you need to wait, which is that we can go over the math. That would be actually a good piece of content to go over the math.
Sure.
But they've all this money and they've never really budgeted, but they made enough money just to get by. They don't know how to translate all this money everywhere to like, I don't have to work anymore.
Right.
So we get their money invested properly. We create them passive income with their investments. And we have had many retirees who would probably be fine without us, but like we established them like solid sources of income that completely remove that financial stress or fear that you mentioned. Another one is business owners. Business owners that even make a good amount of money, like 1099 sole proprietorships. We help them file taxes as an S corporation. I'm not a tax professional, but I can read the IRS code and tell you exactly what to do. Right. And then your accountant can help you actually file. But like they can't manage revenue inside their business. And it's like real estate agents, they'll make 30 grand in 1 month and then nothing for the next 4 months. And then they go this boom and bust cycle. And their business feeds their personal, and then when the business dries up, their personal dries up. And it's just like we for the business owners, we like level out this like hilly financial world they have, where it's like, oh my God, I have so much money, or oh my God, I'm broke. And we level it out by paying them properly, helping them manage the money in their business, and then we help them in their personal too. It's so, but there are plenty of people who have gotten in and say, oh, I want to do all the stuff, I want to invest in this and that. And then they get the slightest bit of accountability where they can't buy that thing that they wanted immediately. And they're like, actually, I'm not ready for this. I'll come back later.
Yeah. No, I can totally empathize with that. Look, I mean, I'm an impulsive dude. If I see something that I want, or, maybe I need it for this or whatever, I'm like, I got to have it. So I'm going to figure out how, if I got to go sell plasma, I'll go do that. You know what I'm saying? No, you do what you have to do in the day and age, but I know that a lot of people don't want to hold themselves accountable. Yeah. And when someone's kind of staring them down and going, no, you know.
And it's not like that. We're all, I say this, and if I
not in a judgmental way.
Yeah, well, but some people think that. Some people, since money, like think about how money is talked about in our society, it's very taboo. But the thing is, like, if you think about your day, right? There's 24 hours in a day. The normal person, Monday through Friday, spends a third of their time working, 8 hours, third of their time hanging out doing whatever, and then a third of their time sleeping. So if you don't start like taking control of your money, you're literally, in my opinion, wasting a third of your life.
Right.
So and I could use more impulsivity at times. That's something that I struggle with, is that I don't necessarily, I'm too good at delaying
You're like
pleasure.
OCD with money.
Well, I used to be. We can talk about that. Actually, that's a really good point. But like impulsivity, there's a value to that, and I've learned to be more impulsive and like live in the moment more as I've gotten older. But there will be a time in your life where you're headed towards this spot where, like, it's not yours, but your lack of planning will come to roost. And there will be a situation where you're like, man, I wish I would have prioritized money more, and typically that's when people they're in their 50s and they're like, oh man, I would really love to stop working someday, and they have $10,000 in their 401k. That's where it will eventually come to roost.
Yeah.
Where you either are too old to work, don't want to work, can't work for health reasons, family reasons, whatever, and then you're kind of screwed.
Yeah. No, it happens. And I mean, it's a real thought. Honestly, I'm 2 years away from 50.
Yeah.
And I think about that all the time. Like I said, we don't need to go down my financial rabbit hole, but I mean, I've been, I was doing real good when I was married and had a dual income, household, and everything was all hunky dory and everything. And then she was doing all the finances, where I kind of messed that up. I should have kind of put my nose in it a little bit at least, and
see that a lot. Yeah.
See what was going on, but I had no idea. I was like, okay, as long as the bills are paid, and I was like the quotey fingers breadwinner, or whatever the heck, head of household.
Sure.
We'll call it that.
Sure.
Be PC. But and so now it's just like you get kind of worried, man. I don't know, how many would you say, like, what's the percentage of like retirees are you dealing with?
Of all of our customers, it's probably 10 to 20% of overall people.
That's a lot.
Yeah, and it started with 0.
Yeah.
So and it's growing a lot, and we have people who would join it, but then they tell their friends, and then they tell their friends' friends.
Snowballs.
You've watched the video. You watch videos on my social. We don't run ads. I make content. I shit post on Facebook. Can I say shit?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can say shit.
Shit. I can say shit. Hell yeah.
This is America.
I shit post on Facebook. Like I'm so busy that I wish I could market better. We talked about marketing while we were chatting before this, but in our messages. But
sure.
We could double, triple, quadruple the size of the business if I had the time to.
Right.
So it's really word of mouth. Like, we have some families where there's 12. We have this one family. There's 12 siblings. We have 8 of them. And they're all adults.
Damn.
And we started with one, and then they told and they're like, well, when one of us finds something that we like, the rest of them do it too.
Yeah.
And so
a bunch of lemmings.
But they're all, guess what? They're all building wealth.
Yeah.
And it's changing their lives. So.
Yeah, and I mean, and I do want to talk to you. We'll get into like the economy and stuff like that.
Yeah, would love to.
Definitely, I'm not smart enough to know what the hell's going on with the economy right now, but I just know that, like, there for a while, I go by how it feels. Like,
most people do.
And it was like, about for the last, like, I don't know, we'll just say the last 5 years, it was very stressful to make money and to save money and to pay bills. And over the last month, how many months, it's been, I'm not saying that it's because of our new, leadership or anything like that. What happened?
You're good.
Oh, okay. Is it dropping?
No, you're fine.
Okay. Just making sure, man. You're freaking me out. Don't drop that camera.
I thought it was going to strike.
Don't worry, I'm the producer.
Yeah, I'll produce away. But I'm not saying it's because of our current administration, but I am definitely seeing a
change in sentiment, maybe, or you start to feel better,
it's a little bit easier.
Okay.
To pay bills, to save money.
Sure.
I'm not as stressed out, and things like that. So I like I said, I mean, in my opinion, a lot of these things start at the top, with like finances and the way people manage their businesses and things of that nature. And you can kind of see it filtered down through businesses, the way your leaders act, the way, money flows and things of that nature. I don't know if that's something that you have any insight on, or
about the economy.
Yeah.
So, oh man, how far back do you want to go?
Let's
go to Bretton Woods back in World War I.
So we'll go just beyond that and talk about Nick. How about Richard Nixon? You want to start there?
We can.
So let's talk about Nixon. He's famous for a lot of things, but this is one of the things that maybe people talk a little less about. So, back in the day, our money used to represent something. It was called a greenback, right? It's the money version of gold that was stored somewhere.
Right.
So our currency was backed by gold. So there was a limited supply, right? And it was, a green dollar was a ticket for the gold that's over here.
Right.
You can't carry gold around, right? So, the supply of money determines the value of money, right? So when it was backed by gold, there was this determination of what it was worth, right? So Richard Nixon, in his one of his many gaffes, took us off the gold standard. So money no longer equaled gold. And then the Federal Reserve basically was tasked with their dual mandate, which is what they call it, stable employment and low inflation. And low inflation is considered at 2% or below.
Okay.
So we're considered doing well when your money only loses 2% of its value a year. And so actually, Pat, if you want to pull up something called the M2 money supply.
Okay.
M2 money supply. It should be a graph. Dude, I love this. Having we can pull. Dude, I feel like I'm on Rogan, man. I'm not. This is freaking awesome.
Well, not quite. We're not there yet.
Yeah. So maybe pull up a chart.
Okay.
Of the M2 money.
Right
that looks pretty good. Yeah. Right. So this has China overlaid, but so ignore the red line. But you can see. So this goes back to what is that? 1900.
Let me see
here?
if I can't zoom in on this.
Yeah, maybe. Find a better
M2 money supply.
Okay, here, try this one.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is to oversimplify a little bit. This is how much money is in circulation. Okay, and so in 2000, right, there was $5 trillion in circulation, right? Because that's a number in billions. So 5,000 billion would be 1 trillion. Okay. So now we have somewhere in the neighborhood of what is that? 22 trillion in circulation. So when you have more of something, it's worth less.
The value goes down.
So when Nixon took us off the gold standard, it allowed the Federal Reserve to be able to take a leaf blower and just blow money into the economy and prop up the economy.
Just print it.
And so, and as you see here in 2020, right, you see what happened to the money supply. It's straight up. So there are direct links between. You mentioned leadership. So it's not the president's fault necessarily.
No.
That inflation happened. However, it was exacerbated by the spending of the previous couple administrations, specifically. And this is nonpartisan. This is not at all based on my opinion. This is just facts.
They know that I'm not political at all, and if I am, I'm like down the damn center.
Yeah.
If I'm
and me too. I mean,
politically unhoused.
Yeah, but unfortunately these days you can make an unbiased factual statement, and if it disagrees with the people
in the pocket,
right? But I mean, this chart clearly shows that in 2020 we printed an unprecedented amount of money and lent it out.
Stimulus checks, correct?
Stimulus checks, PPP loans, all this, in order to avoid a massive market meltdown, right? Because it was the first pandemic of its size since
the world.
Yeah, since the Spanish influenza in the early 1900s.
Right.
It was unprecedented time. So I don't necessarily blame the Trump administration for doing that. However, the Federal Reserve was a culprit too. They are the one that pushes the lever forward of printing money. It's called quantitative easing. Right. Quantitative easing is printing money and lending it out in the form of loans to stimulate the economy. Okay, so what you can't really see on this chart is that in 2022, interest rates started rising. The Federal Reserve increased interest rates. Yeah, this is actually a good one.
That's 21.
Yeah, but you can start to see it go down.
It goes
though.
down.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the Federal Reserve did two things to fight inflation. Inflation was 9% in 2022, right? So year over year, your dollar had lost 9% of its value. And actually, the compounding effect of inflation from January 2020 to now is about 30%. So each dollar you had that was sitting in your savings account in January of 2020 is now worth 70 cents. That's not an exaggeration. It's just math. Yeah. So and inflation has been trending down year over year. However, it's not going backwards. It's getting worse slower. So 9% one year, then 9% the next year is a cumulative of 18% inflation over 2 years.
Yeah.
So inflation is hovering somewhere in the neighborhood of 2.9% now. But so the other lever that was pulled is, the Federal Reserve increased interest rates to throw cold water on a red hot economy that they caused by blowing money into the economy, right? So then the other thing that they did was the opposite of quantitative easing, which is quantitative tightening. They were taking money out of circulation. So as a loan was paid back, they were not reissuing it. And they say lowering our balance sheet is what they call it, if you listen to any of the Federal Reserve meetings. So as you can see, in 2022, the M2 money supply decreased. But if you pull up, I don't know, I've had you pull up like 8 charts.
That's
But
that's fine. I'll take a look.
It has actually started to increase again.
Okay.
So we are seeing this. The Federal Reserve has said they slowed the rate of quantitative tightening because inflation's coming down, but it actually has started to tick up. Actually, the bottom right there, you can see it start to tick up again.
Okay.
See it?
Mm-hmm.
So just in the last couple months, the Fed started printing again.
Nice.
And so the stock market, if you look at the NASDAQ, is up 18%
All-time
year to date.
highs.
All time, we're blowing it out of the water.
Yeah.
So the cool thing about this is that if you're invested in assets, people who are invested in assets have never been richer.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't invest in assets, you've never been poorer because your money has lost value. You spend the same amount of time making the same amount of money, but it's worth less. Right. So that middle class you were talking about is getting crushed by inflation.
Right.
Inflation with people who have homes, who have stocks, who have not necessarily businesses. That's not tied to the stock market, but the more money that's printed, it just goes right into my brokerage account. Essentially, it floats right to the top. So again, if you are someone who has the majority of your world, your financial world in assets, this M2 money supply increasing again is gold for you.
Right.
But if you are, a middle class person who can't afford to invest or hasn't invested, you're going to get crushed. You've been getting crushed, and you're going to continue to get crushed.
What kind of assets are you suggesting that people invest in?
Stock market based assets, high quality companies, because this is really interesting
Talking
too.
about like Nvidias and stuff like
yeah.
that.
And
Okay.
at Google, Google's up 28% year to date.
Do you guys kind of help them find
Yes.
those things?
Yeah.
Because someone like me, I have no idea who to
It's
invest
so
in.
easy. It's so easy.
Right.
We don't stock pick. We pick high quality indexes that have gone up over time, thousands of percentage points. It's really not hard. And again, I started by saying there's never been more information available, and it's never been easier to. So there's this paradox. There's never been more information available, but it's never been easier to invest in history.
Really?
Oh gosh, yeah, absolutely. It's so easy, and it's so easy to not lose money. Also, you buy something that's high quality, you hold it for a while. I think there's another thing, maybe Pat, you could find that, every dollar invested in the S&P 500, if you hold it greater than 10 years, 95% of people make money. So, you're not going to, invest and double your money in 3 weeks. Like, that's ridiculous. That's the kind of investing that will make you lose money.
Right.
But no, we are not certified financial planners. If CFPs were like the answer to the problem, there would not be the problem that we have today. I would not have a company, right?
Right.
I would not help people manage $7 million. So the S&P 500, which is the 500 largest companies in the country, they're all domestic. And so what's the likelihood that all 500 of the largest companies will go to zero? It's close to zero as possible, 0%.
Why is that?
I mean, the 500 largest companies in the country, what's the likelihood that they're all going to go out of business?
Not all. You mean like all of them?
All of them, yeah.
Or
yeah.
any of them?
I would say very few. Within a 10-year period, probably maybe 5 of them will delist.
Yeah, and so that's the point. So the S&P 500 is what's called an index.
It's a very stable
It's a
market.
subset of the market. So if, let's say you're number 500 on that list, because it's organized by market cap. The largest company in the world right now is NVIDIA. So if NVIDIA, the stock price fell 10% tomorrow, not a big deal. Something would replace them as number 1. But if you're number 500 and your stock goes down 5%, you will drop out of the S&P 500, but something will replace you. So it's not like all 500 are going to go to zero and you're going to lose all your money. And you can see here, over the past 10 years, including reinvested dividends, 12 to 14% returns. It's actually been, over the last 5, you can look, it's been close to 28% every single year. So you plop a dollar, but inflation has been 30% cumulative over the past 5 years. The stock market's 70%.
Yeah.
So like I said, if you are investing and you have money and things that go up in value, high quality things, you're crushing it. But if you're not, you're getting crushed.
Right. No, I'm feeling that. I've always been leery about, he's played with some stocks and stuff, but I've always kind of been, because, I have the 401k and all that stuff with my job. And I've gone in, and you can go in and if you want to adjust where it goes.
We do that
and
for
all
people,
stuff.
absolutely.
And I've just been like, oh God, I don't want to screw something up real bad. That's my biggest fear is picking. I think I watched Trading Places too much when I was a kid. Have you ever seen that movie
I
with Eddie Murphy and
I don't think so.
Dan
No, I don't
Aykroyd?
think so.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about an HGTV show where they like buy houses.
No, Trading Places is like it was like a movie about they took a homeless man and then they had a Wall Street tycoon and they basically switched their places and it turned out the homeless guy, which was Eddie Murphy, was brilliant and he like made shitloads of money for this company Mortimer and Mortimer or whatever.
But, I need to watch that. I love Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, no, it was a good movie, but like it was just you see him like on the thing, buy, sell, and I'm like, oh God, if you buy the wrong shit, you're screwed. That was what it taught me.
That's why we don't stock pick. We don't stock pick. We buy high quality things that go up in value over time, and that's it.
Long term,
and there's heard it here first. There's only 2 reasons to invest as an adult. Okay, it's really simple. You invest for traditional retirement, which is 59 and a half and beyond.
Okay.
And the second reason to invest is early retirement. There's no other reason to invest. If you're investing to save money to go buy something later on, you shouldn't invest it because even the S&P 500, from January 1st to April 8th, it fell 23%.
Okay.
So, let's say you were investing and you wanted to buy something with the money that you invested short term. You go to take it out on April 7th. You're like, dang, I lost a lot of money. We would never invest for short term. And so what we define as short term savings is anything that doesn't fit into those 2 buckets.
Okay.
So it's very simple the way our approach to investing.
No, and that's great, man. I mean, I think that I can empathize with that 100%. Somebody like me needing that, like that is gold to me, that information. And for sure, when we leave out of here, I'm probably going to sit down and talk to you. You might have a new client, or 3. I mean, it's just it's a scary time, in the world. You don't know what's happening, what's as far as economy, as far as like what's up with wars. I try to keep my little nose out of the news because who do you believe?
Yeah.
Where does the information come from? And I find myself looking for like if I have a question, I look for experts in the field, people like yourself that like know what the hell they're talking about because they've been there and done it and they've been doing it. So like that's why I said now that you're here, you're kind of like the expert in the field for us.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So any folks, if you have like financial questions at all, please hit them up in the YouTube comment section and Pat will read them off.
Did we ever finish the talk about the gold standard?
So the gold standard led to inflation. I mean, the inflation was almost nothing. And as if the amount of circulating money, thanks for bringing us back, does not equal something that backs it in value, then it has no intrinsic value.
Didn't we go to oil? Our money was backed by oil, or
not recent? No, it's backed by nothing now, except the full faith of the U.S. government is all. Yeah.
So what's the difference between, and I know this is a really simple question probably, but like, you've got like Bitcoin and shit.
Yeah.
And then you've got the US dollar. And the only difference that I can tell is, well, we're just used to seeing the green.
No, so this is actually a massive...
Because it's all fiat, right? I mean...
fiat, the dollar is not a fiat currency. It's not backed by anything, right? So Bitcoin is, because there's a limited supply of it, okay? So...
scarcity.
So... this is a larger conversation about the viability of the U.S. dollar as the world reserve currency. So if you ever, if I'm China and you're Germany, we trade. I have one currency, you have another, but we trade basically my currency to dollar to you. So the world, we all trade through the dollar, right? So that helps bolster the U.S. dollar as a reputable currency, even though it's very elastic in its value.
Right.
So if countries stop using the dollar as a world reserve currency, our currency could be like, we could have Venezuela level inflation, hundreds of percentage points there. And I think it was 1,000 actually 2 years ago.
I thought somebody said that they were talking about doing that.
What? The like I said, this is a larger conversation about the viability of the dollar as a world.
Sorry, I didn't mean to drag us into this.
No, this is
this is
what we do.
Conversation.
Yeah, no, this is very important. So Bitcoin is obviously an example of a type of cryptocurrency, right? It happens to be, I think, the most trusted and valid one, followed closely by Ethereum, I would say. And I've been a very vocal Bitcoin hater
Really?
If you search through my Facebook history, and I'm not someone who is afraid to admit when I'm wrong or like I was
Right,
short-sighted
right.
on something. I saw all the sweaty guys who like never left their mom's house, like talking about Bitcoin. And I'm like, man, what in they are such like, I'm just buying the SP 500 and chilling, man. But no, Bitcoin is legit. It's got a limited supply. And so in and of just based on that, it has a more stable value than the dollar. Okay.
Okay.
And the other thing is, it's not a centralized currency that it's associated to a country. In the history of mankind, every world reserve currency has been tied to a country, which has a government, which has politics, which has trade relations. So each world reserve currency, and it's been the dollar for a long time, has its limitations, even a fiat currency. So Bitcoin is a hypothetical world reserve currency that is uncorruptible by politics, nations, war, anything, because it's stored on the blockchain. Like it's not associated to anyone necessarily, right? So in that, if you believe, and this is what I tell people, if you believe that in our lifetime or our next generation's lifetime, the dollar will no longer be the world reserve currency, you should invest heavily in Bitcoin. I personally don't believe that in my lifetime or in the next 50, 60, 70, 80 years, we will not be the world reserve currency.
Right.
That's my opinion. I could be wrong, but I mean, Bitcoin over the last year has doubled in value.
Really?
It
I
just
thought it
hit.
was
it's up
falling
to-
off.
No,
I
no.
don't track these
It
things.
just hit an
Up to
all-time
100K?
high. Yeah, 124K or 123, and you can pull up the chart. But it's just ripped, and part of it is
Did you
because
invest in any of it?
no,
Still not?
nope, still not. Listen, I'm a purist. No, I'm thinking about it.
I've seen other like experts, people that like get paid and only live on Bitcoin. Like there's this one guy, what's his name? Antonopoulos or something like that. Anyways, he literally, that's how he buys and he's paid and his job. That's all he accepts is Bitcoin. But he will tell you, he's like,
look at that.
yeah, he's like, unless you've been doing this little by little over the last like 10 years, don't take all of your money and dump it into Bitcoin.
Yeah, because you can see here, what's this fall from here? So January, so it was 84K. And this is, so they say Bitcoin's like a hedge against the stock market or the dollar, but the stock market fell 23% from January 1st to April 8th. And so did Bitcoin.
It almost follows the market.
Yeah, but Bitcoin, you can see almost 1,000% over the past 5 years. That's 10x. So, someone like that who, there were stories 10 years ago about football players taking their whole salary in Bitcoin.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Or a portion of it. And so that's just crazy, man. And I started hearing about it when this happened.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, there's no way. It's just a rip and dip scheme, or they're going to rug pull, and then it went down for a long time. You see it like 3, 4, however long that is, between 2017 and like 2020.
And then right there, Joe Rogan started talking about it.
Well, because they've been issuing new coins, and then they did the halving, which is like less new coins are being minted. So
that's a problem. I think that's the thing that I worry about the most. Sorry to cut you off, but like is the fact that it's open source, right? So anybody can make their own coins.
No, so there's a limited supply. Only a certain amount of new coins are allowed to be minted in a certain amount of time, and the amount of new coins that were able to be minted has shrunk since last April.
Oh wow!
So that has helped drive the we talked about supply and demand, like the scarcity of the asset, which builds people's confidence in it. And you mentioned BRICS. BRICS it stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and Saudi Arabia. Yeah, Saudi Arabia. Yeah. So these nations, who most of them don't like us, came together and they're like, screw the U.S., we're just going to make our own currency.
Right.
So
the Chinese yen, I think.
And so they're basically threatening to replace the dollar as the world reserve currency. And if that does happen, we're screwed. I mean, at that point, we will, like I said, have Venezuela level inflation that will just destroy. And for me, my assets will skyrocket. But for someone who's not investing and just trying to make a dollar, it'll be 1920s level depression.
Really?
Where there's pictures of people bringing in a wheelbarrow full of money to buy a loaf of bread. Like that's how it will be. And that's, if you believe that is a true existential threat and that's going to happen in our lifetime, you should be all in on Bitcoin.
How do we get? Because you can't go back. Like the thing that of course, with any business is once they make a certain number, they're like, we're not going to go back down.
As far as like profit?
Yeah, profit. I mean, when we talk about like inflation and going through depression and things like that, like easing it up for the everyday person that's just trying to live and do their thing, like you said, buy a loaf of bread for their kids or
Yeah.
whatever. I mean, like we see that, I mean, there was a period in time when everybody was freaking out over eggs, the price of eggs.
Yeah.
And
Well, that was from the avian flu. They had to
Right,
kill a bunch
they
of chickens.
killed, like,
supply and it was basic supply and demand.
Correct,
People freaked
correct.
out over that.
You
This
know-
coffee's good, by the way.
Thank you,
This
thank you.
coffee's like legit, man.
Walmart brand.
Shout out to Walmart.
Colombian though.
Oh, that good Colombian black.
That's it. Do
The thing is not the
you want anything
Colombian
in that?
white.
Oh, this is good.
okay.
I'm actually really enjoying this.
Yeah, I used to be a coffee snob, but now I'm like, we're at Walmart brand level now. So
It's good. It's good.
when I start investing in things, maybe we'll get back to the old. I'll have the Ethiopian roast in here.
Sounds lit. You better invite me back.
For sure. Oh, you're welcome back anytime, dude. Like I'm just now, not to get off topic, but whatever topic we were on, but talking about eggs and the price of goods and services out there these days, it's getting harder and harder to, just kind of do the same old thing. It's not the same old game anymore. So you really, I feel like that everybody needs a little Breedlove in their life. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
I'm biased, but yeah.
yeah, of course you are. Well, I mean, it especially if you're like running a business or wanting to retire. I feel like those two are probably the most, in my opinion. I've had like 3 startup businesses that I just said no, because
hopefully this keeps going. This is awesome.
Oh yeah, well we don't get paid on this. You're probably like,
Oh, wait.
you dumbass.
You're not paying? I'm not getting paid for this?
No.
All right. We're
Cut it, cut it,
cut it.
and that's it, folks.
Dude,
No.
we put you up in a hotel room.
No,
Yeah.
but we don't charge for it. We don't get, we don't monetize. Everybody that I tell that to, they're like, dude, why? This is fucking awesome. I'm like, well, we got to get to a certain point
Yeah.
of, subscribers,
Mhm.
listeners and all that. And we've been doing this for 5 years.
Give or take.
And so it's like, not in this format here, but I've been doing this podcast for 5 years, and it's just like, I never thought about monetizing it, which I probably should, but
Probably.
at any rate, but yeah, for someone like me, I mean, I get to the point where it's like, it's doing really, really good, and like, oh shit, I'm either gonna have to quit my job and go full balls into this, or quit this and go back to work.
It's kind of where we're at with the line. Like
Yeah.
I think when I came in here, I surprised you that I definitely have still a full-time job, my day job.
Okay,
So
I mean, at this point, do you need it? You just love it.
No, the answer is definitely no. I do not have to work anymore. The thing is, I'm just not ready to give it up at this point. Within the next 4 years, when I'm 40, I will no longer have a corporate job.
Okay. Do they
and-
know that? Well, they do now.
Well, hey, boss, if you're watching,
Here's a little Easter egg.
yeah.
Guess what? This is my 4-year resignation.
Yeah, I'm giving a 4-year notice here.
Yeah.
No, but it
You
so
have a plan.
definitely have a plan. And I was a nurse. I worked night shift for 12 years,
Mhm.
and most recently at Mayo Clinic. I left there in 2021. Worked at a medical device company for a minute. That was wild, and then I went into pharmaceutical. I was actually a pharmaceutical sales rep, and now I'm what's called a medical science liaison. Very fancy.
What the hell is that?
So I work for a large pharma company,
Okay.
and my job is to be an unbiased source of scientific information for not only our products, but any product in the therapeutic space where I am an expert. So I happen to be in inflammatory bowel disease. We took a big left turn here.
It's fine. This is the way we love it. We love it like this. We just go down rabbit holes.
And so basically every time you turn on like a Thursday night football game, every other commercial is like for Skyrizi.
I was getting ready to
Nothing
ask you
is
that.
everything. Like
We're
that-
like
the-
one of 2 countries that allows.
New Zealand and us, out of
Yeah.
220. Yeah. So, I have all of Florida and I have the island of Puerto Rico as my territory. So I drive around. I talk to staff in offices, doctors, regional and national thought leaders about our drug, and gather insights from their expertise and bring them back to our company to help develop better drugs faster. Is essentially my job. So
Interesting.
it's cool as hell, man. It's such a cool job.
It sounds cool. I could get into it. I mean, not to get you in trouble with your boss or anything, but I mean, like I feel like I have like mixed emotions about like the pharma.
Yeah.
No,
I think that's valid.
you know what I mean? It's like there's so many things that they do that are like we live longer now because of, which is awesome.
Mhm.
Whether it's new procedures, new
Yep.
medications and whatnot. But as a country, I feel like we rely so heavily on medication for
Mhm.
things instead of like, like I have bad blood pressure, and I'm like legitimately, I'm like a testament to that. Uh, I had horrible blood pressure, and they were like, they put me on the stress test and all that
Mhm.
stuff, and I was like 38,
Mhm.
and they were getting ready to put me on some kind of
Pill.
pill,
Yeah.
and shortly after that, I lost a lot of stress and a lot of weight.
Mhm.
The divorce. It
Sure.
was, I say weight because 120 pounds.
You lost half your body weight. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I did lose a shitload of weight.
Mhm.
I went from like 210 to like 135.
Nice.
A lot of that was I hold on to weight when I'm stressed.
Mhm.
So
That's normal.
yeah,
Cortisol. That's normal.
right. When it went away and I was like chilling again and I started working out,
Mhm.
I was running, I was eating healthy, I was doing meal prep and all these things. And then I went back to my doctor and he goes, dude, I don't know what the hell you just did. Over the last 6 months or so, however long it took me to,
Yeah.
before I went back in. Because I wasn't getting like regular checkups and things
Mhm.
either when I was married. I didn't care about my health.
Sure.
At any rate, and he was just like, I don't know what you did, but you're good, bro. You don't need anything,
See
any
you next year.
medication.
Yeah.
But to my point, we're like, oh, I have a problem. What's the medication that I can take?
Yeah, and a lot of the problems are caused by being overweight. I mean, and patients with obesity and overweight is what it's called now. So, but you're right. I mean, we are in a very industrialized country,
Mhm.
and it's called the Western diet for a reason. We eat like crap. We eat things that didn't exist even 30 years ago,
Right.
40 years ago, and highly processed. I think you can check me on this stat, but by 2030, 50% or 60% of the population will be considered obese in the U.S. Something like that.
It sounds
We're
right.
pulling up a lot of charts. This is probably not the most fun chart, but
No,
but but what
it's
happened
something that
is,
needs to be talked. I think.
Yeah.
Well, when you get into this conversation, you get people starting to get like weird about it because they're like, that maybe they're a little overweight or
Sure.
whatever, and it's like,
But
it doesn't feel good to know that.
if I showed up here drunk and was like slurring words, would you guys pull me aside? And I hope you would, and be like, you should probably lay off the sauce. Like,
No, dude, we're gonna have a killer podcast. It's gonna be awesome.
Okay, so 2030 is 50%. So sorry, I was 10% higher than that, but I was
Okay.
pretty dang close. So 50% by 2030. So, but I think there is a body positivity movement that we're all very aware of, and helped
Right.
by social media, and you don't need to be shamed for your weight necessarily openly, but there is a direct correlation between having too much weight on your body and having more disease.
Mhm.
Like that's not even debatable. So
Yeah.
so so I understand why people. I mean, I should work out more. I definitely should work out more, and,
Mhm.
and that's it. But, I mean, we're all the way back to the accountability piece. People
Right.
don't like accountability,
Sure.
and weight you see outwardly. You show up, and it's often the first thing people know, like realize about you, and so it's a very personal thing. But the disease associated with it is catastrophic. I
Yeah.
mean, the number one killer in the country is heart disease, followed by cancer, which is strongly correlated to weight.
Right. Well, and I know that like things of like sugar and carbohydrates kind of feed cancer. That's what that's what I've
Yeah, there's
heard.
Yeah,
I don't know if YouTube. I don't know if that's a fact. Okay.
yeah.
I'm a
Hopefully we don't get a
dumbass.
Yeah,
strike for that one.
Well, you're kind of an expert, so you got if
Not
you
on
don't
cancer.
if you don't know, then just say I don't know.
yeah. Allegedly.
Allegedly. Yeah, I've gotten an episode pulled because we were talking about health stuff, but it was like kind of
Yeah.
at the ass end of COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you hear about all the lawsuits and what they just? Do we want to
No.
go there about?
No, go for it.
Yeah. So
The lawsuits on who?
So
On YouTube?
yeah, so YouTube actually, so Google owns YouTube,
Right.
And Google has been a big in the news recently over the past several years, maybe like halfway through the Biden administration till now, about being too big of a company, like being a monopoly, and so like antitrust lawsuits have been brought against them, and
Curating things.
In Europe too, I believe, right?
yeah, so the Google has become like an old school monopoly. So governments and have been trying to litigate against them and break them up. So recently there was a settlement, and they were maybe going to have to sell off Google Chrome, and some company offered like $26 billion for it. Like they were in the parking lot, like, here, I'll buy it. But ultimately the government didn't make them break up. And so out of that, and this is allegedly because there's not like, someone didn't come out and say, well, they told us to do this. After it was determined that they weren't going to have to break up, and this just happened last month, they reinstated a bunch of YouTube accounts that were banned because of COVID, because of being anti-administration or being talking about alternative treatments to COVID, and they were just reinstated just all of a sudden. People lost businesses. People imagine if you put $1 million into making this studio and you were just talking about the most pressing issue of the day, which was the disease that was, everyone was afraid of, and you just get demonetized, deplatformed immediately. You might have gone into bankruptcy. You can't, so they ruin lives. Yeah, they ruin lives. So and our president that we have now was taken off of every platform.
Right. That's
and so
crazy.
he's been and he's won lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit against CBS, against ABC, against Meta. Meta had to pay him.
What about when Meta had come out and Mark Zuckerberg released a statement saying that we had pressure from the Biden administration and FBI, because they were already in heavy litigation with Meta, and so they were willing to put more pressure. The administration put more pressure on Meta if they didn't take all these posts down or X these accounts.
That's fucking crazy.
And then when Elon bought Twitter, the Twitter files came out. Matt Taibbi published
Michael
those.
Was it like 80% was bots and shit like that, or what?
Well, not only that, but it was, and there's still hella bots on Twitter.
There was a lot of chatter and emails, I believe.
Yeah, so there was direct communication between the administration at the time and Twitter to turn off or delete this tweet, de-platform this person, remove. So there was. I mean, if that's not a conflict of interest, I mean that's just it's like the definition of one. And so we're the pendulum is swinging the other way, where like the truth is coming out and people are being re-platformed. But how do we get into this? Talking about Google or YouTube or getting a strike on the channel? Something.
Strike on the channel.
Well, we were saying talking about like cancer and the things that feed it and whatnot. But
we said allegedly.
Yeah, we said allegedly because I'm a moron and I don't know.
Yeah.
And I said that before in the last podcast it got pulled, and I just put it back up. It's like I deleted that part and then put it back up.
Yeah.
But so if that happens, it'll go back up. Don't worry.
Yeah,
about it.
I would be. I'm not an expert in cancer. That's probably
no.
I've seen that same. There's some.
But
documentaries.
we can all read.
Yeah, and I would just say it's a very dynamic disease that we don't have a cure for, and that actually my wife sells in that space, so she's in pharma as well.
Oh, really?
She actually just tuned into the chat.
Oh, really?
Jacqueline Breedlove?
That's
depends on what type of cancer. There's some research suggesting sugar, but also inflammation.
Yeah, so there's endocrine contributors. Like it's too multifaceted to be just sugar.
At the end of the day, you are what you eat. Whatever you put in your vehicle, if I go out there and put concrete in my car and my gas tank, it ain't gonna run.
I prefer sauteed microplastics.
Yeah, well that's
Your taint is getting smaller. Sorry. That's
break out the measuring stick.
That's an inside joke.
There we go.
there's a Dr. Shauna Swan that she talks about that, like how microplastics and phthalates are shrinking men's taints. And the point behind that is like our ability to breed, I guess, is starting to go down. The fertility rate is at its lowest. Our birth rate in the U.S. is below replacement value, so our what does that mean?
Below 2.
I've heard that.
Below 1.9.
Yeah, I think it's
1.9 or 2 replacement value.
I think it's 2. It might be 1.9 or 2.1.
Is there gonna be a lot of empty houses in the next 50 years?
Well, it's for every 2 kids that are born, they have 2 parents and then they end up dying. So if you fast forward a generation, you gotta have 2 kids for every family to at least stay the same, right?
Japan's going through that.
Yeah, Japan and so I mean, I think it's a couple things in the U.S. People are waiting longer to get married; they're not committing, and then the fertility issue is major and very personal to a lot of people, including myself. So
2.1.
Yeah, 2.1. That's what I thought. So the 0.1, I would like to see that person.
That's
or just one guy with a bigger taint. We count him as 1.1.
I think for every 10 families, you'd have to have one family that have 3 children for that to be 2.1.
Something like that.
Yeah, that's always been a weird thing. Like, I want my 2.5 kids.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah.
You want a half a kid?
Well,
I mean, some people do, I guess, whatever. But no, I and I'm glad that you brought that up when you came in because, it's a thing that like, It's on my mind all the time, talking about, like, I've known people that were, I don't know what the guy's job was, but he was definitely in some kind of pharmaceutical job. He always dressed real slick, had a beautiful car, and he would go into, at the time I was working at a grocery store, and we at the store I was working at, we had like a whole. It was almost like a restaurant inside, the delicatessen. We had like a chef that we hired. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But he would come in there and get like whole, like big, all the food, and then he would like take it out. When I left that store, he like came in and bought me like $100 bottle of scotch, and I'm like, can we be best friends? Like, do you need a son? I want, you can adopt me, but I know that there's a lot of money in it, and it's like almost never ending to go into that type of thing, but
it's hard to get into. Yes, it's lucrative. I definitely make more now than I did as a bedside nurse. Do I create more utility or more value now? Probably not. Helping someone through the worst day of their life, I got paid a lot less than I do going around and talking to doctors and talking about our data. So.
Again, not to, I really don't want your employer to hate me, but like, what makes you feel better at the end of the day? Is it like going around trying to talk about a new drug to someone, or helping a family, with their financial freedom?
Oh, it's not even close. It's the money part. Yeah. I actually had a little bit of identity, not crisis, but when I was a nurse, I would go and I could measure how much better someone got from the start of my shift to the end, right? Okay. They said, you were a great nurse, or I'd noticed something in their vital signs that would make me concerned about them, and I escalated it, and I was the one that saw it, right? When I left bedside and moved into pharma sales, 90% of the days, you feel like you did nothing. I'm that guy that goes in to get the food and takes the food and shows up at the office with Chick-fil-A, and the doctor pops in for 2 seconds. He's like, yeah, so that's a normal day for me. So it's actually not even close. I create way more value with our company. My job has always been a means to an end. Like I said, when I was at 17, I just knew that I wanted to be successful. Didn't necessarily know I was going to do it, and the road has been windy, but it had to do with money. So I've always been, like, how is this getting me closer to my ultimate goal of having complete time freedom? And that's, my job. I do it very well. I kick ass, but it's a means to an end.
Have you always been this uplifting and positive in your life, or has there been a time when you were like kind of not feeling it as much?
Yeah, I think, there's man, you're taking me back.
I know.
There's definitely been times. There's definitely been times. It's never, I am a, I'm a realistic optimist, and I choose to believe that, like, through my actions, I can affect the outcome. And if I can contribute to it, it's going to end up fine. Like that's how I really believe. And so, but when things are out of my control, it really frustrates me. And not that I'm a control freak, but it's like, I can't affect the outcome. And if I'm involved in it, it's frustrating when something is happening that I don't have control over. Right. So in that way, I am optimistic because I've overcome, just like all of us. I mean, we've all had trials, tribulations, and I've overcome so much stuff that I'll make it through. But for instance, like height of COVID, my grandma died. Lost a relationship. I took care of my grandparents. Like I watched them pass away. So, and then I went home and and this was all within a couple month period. Went home and I just, like, all of a sudden it just hit me, and I was just couldn't get out of bed. Like, that was probably the worst time in my life. Went to therapy, talked to people, and got through it. But it's I have had those times, but it's very rare for me. I mean, I'm very much a pull yourself up by the bootstraps guy, maybe too much so. And I think that makes me a good coach for these families where, I mean, you're in $80,000 of debt and you make $5,000 a month. Listen, it's going to take you 83 months to get out of it, but we're gonna dig through it, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's led to my success doing this with families. But so to answer your question, yes, but I've had my times where I'm not feeling it, and I can't really make it work at the moment.
Well, I just wonder though. I mean, because you're a person that helps people now, and you said that when you were really young, you kind of knew that this is what this was kind of like you knew how to budget your own money, and you figured it out. You learned. Did you have to find someone like yourself, or did you ever reach out and have like a mentor or someone that kind of helped you along the way? I've had, there's definitely been times. There's definitely been times. It's never, I mean, there's definitely been times. It's never, I can't really
I've sought out information from people who didn't know who I was. So mentors on YouTube.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a big fan of Patrick Bet-David. He's a very dynamic speaker. He's taught me a lot about public speaking. He's a storyteller in the way he speaks, and I'm that way. So he's helped me hone my skills as a speaker a lot. And,
Are you on Connect?
No, I should be on Connect. Man, I should be on Connect. That would be awesome. You know, if you have that hookup, you let me know. But like Graham Stephan is another one. You know, I actually got to meet him at a PBD event in Fort Lauderdale. But like, talk about investing, talk about real estate investing. But in my personal life, I started a business in 2020, a real estate brokerage called Momentum Realty, and I had a friend and business partner at the time that really did teach me a lot about what I could accomplish. So in that way, he was a very good mentor. We had a really bad falling out, and that's not normal for me to have the loss of a relationship like that. But I would say I credit him with a lot of my success in the last decade. And so, yeah, I had a guidance counselor too in high school, Mr. Duffy. Shout out if you're watching. Don Duffy. I was a kid. I mean, I was showing up with like dirty clothes. He knew what was going on in my family. Like I was 17, living on my own. And he just helped me. He's like, hey, here's how you apply for scholarships. You know, here's how you write an essay. You know, so there has been people along the way. My aunt and uncle, who are like my parents, Julie and Jeff Wiley in Houston. They sent me a check for $1,000 when I was 18 for health insurance. $69 a month. They're like, here's a couple years worth, and that helped me, right? So there definitely has been people who have been in my life that have helped me along.
Kind of looking out for you.
Yeah. But I've never been the one like the woe is me. I don't go out looking for that. And actually, one of my struggles now is I'm finding it harder and harder to relate to people in my life who aren't thinking about the things I'm thinking about, doing the things I'm doing. Like I can't talk business with. Who aren't passionate about the same things as I am. So I'm struggling finding like the next like person who's on the next rung up from me and wants to pull me up.
Yeah,
I'm going through that right now.
Yeah, no, I understand that 100%. And that's one of the things I always think about when I bring someone like yourself in here, and I'm like, well, shit, we're not on the same level at all. Like mentally or anything. And I was just like, but all I can do is ask questions.
You're good at it, man. Seriously, you're good. You're really good at it.
I'm okay. I'm okay.
This is good.
But we're having fun. That's all that matters.
So.
As long as
he's having a lot of fun.
Oh yeah,
yeah. He's a smart guy.
Yeah, I can tell.
I've always been I've been like a D student.
Okay.
I'm not very good. I was in the what do you call it? The SPED math classes. So when you start talking numbers, I almost check out.
And that's really actually hard. Really common. That's really common, man. And I rattle off numbers probably way too fast. And my wife's like, yep.
She's fine.
And sometimes they're wrong too. So you gotta, she's like, yeah. But anyway, no, that's not uncommon at all for people to have a natural aversion to numbers. Yeah. And I just the opposite of that. If I'm bored, I just sit and like run like compound interest calculations and like because it's absolutely.
So it's not just a way of life; it's like a hobby for you almost.
Yeah. Because I can really take that information and I translate it into direct success in people's lives. Like there's a direct connection.
I love that.
Do you get a feeling of like a gratification that you live a life based? It's the best way I can put this in English.
Well, what language you know?
A life based in facts, because numbers don't lie almost.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? There's no theory behind it really. It's just cut and dry.
Words talk, numbers scream. That's what Tom says on PBD.
Exactly.
Y'all are speaking Greek to me right now. I don't know who that is or that show.
So Patrick Bet-David, another guy on YouTube.
Yeah. PBD podcast.
I'll have to check him out.
He built a massive insurance agency, sold it for $500 million, and started a podcast in 2020 as a business guy. He said, "I don't want to touch politics with a 10-foot pole," but they're really good at breaking down. They lean conservative, but they're. I mean, I listen to them Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and they're really good at breaking down current events and helping process through the issue. Like they're big at processing. Like, how do you process this? Like, what's your like? And argue the other. They're very much like Charlie Kirk, rest in peace. Just open debate and conversation. That's what they value, and that's what we need. But no, to answer your question, yes, but also, like I said, I think I left unchecked am too realistic. I'm too intentional. I'm too good at delaying pleasure. I could indulge more, definitely. And so I think I'm gonna have a line. When I retire, when I say retire, I mean I will no longer need a corporate job to support myself.
Right,
and that's
right,
already
right.
happened. Like that's
you're there.
I'm there.
You're just doing it because you like it.
A line will be the forever. I see it as like I want to become the millennial Dave Ramsey. Dave started in the 80s selling books out of his trunk, and has helped millions of people get out of debt. And I agree with a lot of things that he talks about. I disagree with a lot of things that he talks about.
Sure.
Like use of credit. You have to have a credit score. And he argues in a very silly way that you don't need a credit score, which is not true. Absolutely not true.
Poppycock.
It's poppycock. So I see Align becoming the most trusted voice in personal finance in the country.
Oh wow.
That's my goal. And so my short-term goal, medium-term goal would be to be the increase my reach in regionally in Jacksonville, do more in-person stuff. This is why I wanted to come here and talk to you guys. And then be able to affect change in people's lives that transcend my own ability to coach them directly and build a larger company.
Well, when you were saying that, I was just thinking about, when you create, financial freedom for yourself, you've already got it. You're there. Do you have children?
Not yet.
Okay. Do you plan on it?
Yeah.
Okay. So my question is, when you have children, I know it's easy for us to, especially if you have it to, I don't want to have my kids have the same life I had growing up. A lot of people are doing that these days, and of course that's great, right? But then by doing that, they'll almost enable them, or they won't teach them about financial, literacy and things of that nature.
Yep.
So what would you do? How are you going to say you're the number one guy in the United States, and they know Dad's famous and we got a lot of money. I don't have to work ever. I'm going to get a sports car at 16.
Yeah.
All these things.
So this will be a perfect example of a YouTube short or something we could clip. But there's a Chinese proverb.
Plus, your wife's watching. I want her to.
Yeah, there's a Chinese proverb that it's in English, shirt sleeves to shirt sleeves. You could probably look this up. I don't know exactly what it is in Chinese. I don't
Shirt
speak
sleeves
Chinese.
to shirt sleeves.
Yeah, shirt sleeves. So it's a Chinese story that talks about. There we go. Shirt sleeves to shirt sleeves in 3 generations. The man who worked the rice field and who was poor and in China, saved some money, invested it maybe, and did well, and then has kids who are better off than he was. Right. His generation, 3 generations later, they're back working in the rice fields.
Okay.
Because the lessons that guy learned working hard in the rice fields can't be passed on through stories or through giving someone advice. So this has been an issue for centuries, right? So my fix for that would be you have to replicate the struggle that I had in my life to learn what I learned, but while keeping them safe.
Gotcha.
You can't, they fall down, you let them get up. They buy a car and get screwed on interest. Don't bail them out. They have to feel it. You've got to feel the crunch of making a bad decision. You've got to, when you put your hand on the stove and it gets burned, if I tell you not to do that, you're gonna be like, screw you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it. So, but when you feel that pain, that's the first thing you're gonna remember when you go to do that thing again. So my theory about this is, you have to replicate the struggle that you went through in a way that teaches the same lessons while keeping them safe, while keeping them fed,
right.
so they don't have to move out when they're 17 and get an apartment in a bad part of town like I did, right?
Right.
So yeah, we'll see if that works. But this proverb, I mean, it explains exactly what you mentioned, is that the person that makes the money is not the person that squanders the fortune, is the one that inherits it, then doesn't know the lessons that person learned or the things that they did to create it. And by 3 generations, it's non-existent.
No, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, we're there. I think there's a lot of that happening right now.
Yeah. You heard that hard times create strong men, strong men create easy times, easy times create weak men men create hard times. It's a cyclic nature.
Yeah, kind of a similar, similar thing. That's
proverb.
Spot on. Yep.
Yeah. No, I think we're getting to that point now. I think there's a lot of people that don't know how to do things. They don't know how to work. They don't know how to. They have zero work ethic.
Yep. Lack of accountability. We've had a lot of emphasis on feelings, not reality, in the past decade, and that leads to inability to process issues, which leads to you hear something you disagree with, you have this primal reaction, which is violence and screaming and fight or flight. Whereas, you know, if you said you're really ugly to me, I'd be like, man, it's not the first time I've heard that. I've really tried to work on my, you know, I would process the issue, right?
Yeah,
Rather than being like, screw you, like I'm out of here.
Root cause.
Yeah, and so you go.
You do have a nice head of hair, though.
Oh, thank you. So do you. Hey, look who's talking. I mean, all of us do. But you know,
I get what you're saying.
you have to teach people how to process issues.
Yeah.
And through.
But it's
trying to
good for your
recreate it.
pharmaceutical job, because then they just go take more antidepressants and whatnot. Right?
Well, I don't sell them. Yeah.
Well, no, maybe not you, but like the
Yeah.
industry. You
Yeah.
know, they're like, oh, we'll just pump them full of antidepressants. Anyways, what brought you to Jacksonville?
Oh, the weather. 20,
First time I've heard that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Have you ever been in the Midwest in the wintertime?
I try
It's
not
like
to.
hell on earth.
No.
Like if hell froze over.
I went to Chicago once in the winter, and I was like,
It's bad, man. That wind cuts right through you. No, I lived 25 winters in Ohio, and you know, I graduated. I had enough money to like, you know, not have to feel like I was struggling every single day. And I'm like, screw this, I'm out of here. And I, you know, as a nurse, if you work somewhere that's a larger metro area with larger hospitals, they'll pay better. So I wanted to be somewhere that didn't have state tax, check mark, be close to the water, check mark. There was a metro city large enough to give me a good salary, check mark. So Jacksonville just happened to be it. I'm like, that looks good. And if I don't like it, I can always move. And that was 10 years ago, actually, this month.
Wow.
This month, 10 years. Wow.
Happy 10-year anniversary, I guess.
10 years. I'm celebrating with you guys.
Duval. How did that guy say it wrong?
Duval.
Yeah.
New coach. Oh, dude, that video is
First of all,
hilarious.
When people say that, it gives me it gives me the willies, you know.
Have you been here a long time?
I've lived here my entire life.
So that's why. I mean,
Me too.
that's not surprising. Yeah.
I just like, come on, can we chant something else, you know? Good
It'd
God.
be different if the team was a little better. I mean, they're
Hey.
doing okay.
Hey.
They're doing okay.
Hey, first time 3-1 in 18 years.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
good for
Yeah.
them.
He's a numbers guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. He, like I said, he's way more up on current events.
I do HVAC work for a living, so I'm a numbers guy.
Actually, I need your number
Yeah.
because we have, you know,
He's
rentals
very good at
and-
his job.
Good. Yeah. Well,
Well, I'll have my people get with your people.
okay. Perfect.
Yeah,
perfect.
that's how
call,
he does
Call
that.
my agent.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not a sports person at all, or a numbers guy.
Yeah. What do you like?
This.
Just kidding.
I like. No, it's funny. I love people. I love.
Cool.
As
This is great for you.
As standoffish as people see me, like when you first see me, like if you saw me out in the world,
Yeah.
I have when I'm in thought, I have this scowl on my face, and I look like I could pretty much kill you at any moment, you know. And I'm like, it's not who I am. When you say Jim, I'm like, hey, you know, and I light right up. But I mean, so I've just, but I am an introvert. I don't do well in crowds. This is the best way for me to be in a crowd of people, to sit with you and him, and we talk, and it's just the three of us, but anybody can watch.
Yeah.
As many people can put their eyeballs on it, and I love that.
Mm-hmm.
And like I told you, this is your show. When whoever's sitting across from me, this is your show. So if there's things you want to bring up, you bring it up. I don't care. If I've got, you know, trust me, the topic that we're on, or all the topics, you know, we could go forever.
Yeah.
And rabbit holes aplenty, you know,
Mhm.
our little brains, and we could end up on Bigfoot and aliens and who knows, you know. But I stay out of current events. I try to stay off social media as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
I keep all my social medias in a little file folder on my second screen, on the
Mhm.
back screen, and
Smart.
it's in a trash. It says trash on the file, because I want to stay out as much as possible. It's not. I don't see anything good when I'm going on there.
Yeah, it's a necessary evil if you want to build a business in 2025, though. So
Unfortunately.
that's the one thing. And if you're not on TikTok, you really should be. You know, in my and this is not me telling you how to run your thing here.
Well, I've seen you say like in your reels on Instagram or whatever,
Yeah.
like your TikToks, your lives, and
Yeah.
like you do really well.
Mm-hmm. And if you want to reach more people, that is the way, period. So there's actually not debating that at all. So, you know, if you're spending time making content in one platform, you might as well copy it over and make sure it fits. I mean, you have all the equipment necessary to do that.
Oh yeah.
On that platform as well. I mean, this should be, you know, on TikTok Live as well, on every live, you know, to get more eyeballs. But it's a necessary evil.
formatting, you know.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
it's 9:16,
Mhm.
so it's like
Yeah.
we're doing landscape.
Well, the clips will do well. The clips.
Oh
will do
yeah,
numbers.
and we do. I do like once a week. I'll upload a clip, and you know, because between work and family life and everything else that I do, it's like, shit, I got to sit down and make clips, you know, which CapCut's
It's a lot.
awesome.
No, CapCut's awesome.
I just
It's a
throw
lot
in the
though.
whole video and it just chops it up.
Yep, chops it up. Yep. It's a lot though. I will say, like I said, I don't have time to market more, and we could quadruple the business in a couple month period. I just don't. I don't have the time.
You need someone that's like a social media marketing person that does basically what you do, but for social media.
I need someone that will,
which I know a bunch of those people,
will do the work to prompt me, and I sit in a studio like this, react to clips, put those up, ask me questions that I answer to, and create that content and put it out. I could, if you blocked me off for 3 hours, I could sit here, rattle stuff off like we have been, and make content for a month. I just don't have that person right now to do that.
Do the editing.
And the other thing is, we can't handle too much more growth in the business right now too, and so much so that, you know, we've hit bottlenecks multiple times at Align. Like originally, you know, I mentioned the Clay, my friend, that emailed and said, "Hey, teach us stuff," and sort of like helped birth the business. You know, our company was very different at that time. We would do a 3-month class where you guys would join. We'd walk you through a 3-month class where we do a one-on-one meeting every other week and then group classes. And I realized that, well, we can only do 7 families at once per quarter. And then if there's 4 quarters in a year, that's only 28 families. So we hit this bottleneck. So then I created the online coaching, $100 a month, and all the content is online on our website. I had another bottleneck where people are paying off their debt and they have all this money, and well, they want to learn how to invest. So I created the what we call Align Elite. If you go to alignmoneymastery.com/passive income, you know, that was born out of people paying off their debt, and they're like, okay, what next? So I created that. That's where we got the $7 million invested. Then I'm like, I can't handle anybody else. We need to bring more coaches in. So I sold my first Align franchise to a guy in Georgia who I'll train to do exactly what we do, and he builds his own personal finance coaching company with our principles, exactly like we do. We make a small fraction.
So it's almost pyramid-y.
I don't want to say pyramid because it's a bit.
I know people don't really want to do that anymore. I mean, that was a thing for a while. Like, and I think they're still out there. I was part of one, but
no, it's not like you. It's like any franchise. Like you want to open a McDonald's, you pay a fee, you get all the stuff, and you create a business. It's the same thing. It's a business in a box.
I got you.
And we don't make money off of you.
I like that better.
Yeah, I mean, it's you know, I've created a thing where if you just do what I do, you can build your business, and it's never been called a pyramid scheme before. It's actually one of the things I hate.
I didn't call it that. I didn't call it that. I was like,
dare you, Jim? Dare you?
No, but if you're here and you bring 2 more people in, and they bring people in, it
does kind of go that way a little bit. A little bit. It'll start going that way. But I mean, obviously, it's got to run through you. If like you sell that business to that person, or you help them open up their own Align, they can't just sell it and do the same thing.
No. Absolutely not.
They have to come through.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
it's
he's actually providing a service.
Right.
MLMs don't have a real product. The product is the thing, the company. It's you know, any other business that franchises. It's a way to grow and scale the business. We've just hit that point where that's the way we have to grow.
Yeah, I feel that. And now you have like a passive income, which is great, right?
Yeah, it's a small fraction.
Yeah.
So for each monthly coaching customer that joins with another coach, we make $5 a month.
Oh, okay.
We wanted to make it enough where it paid for my time and the use of our website, and you know, you need Zoom, you need a calendar where your people can book with you and to learn the stuff. That's all you need. Yeah. Our overhead is $50 a month, $60 a month. God, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, and so our margin is 99.5%.
I'm doing something wrong because my overhead is way higher than that, and I don't even make money.
Yeah. So we pulled this up if this is cool. So this is our Align Elite. So maybe not the best name, but I named it, you know, whatever, we'll figure it out. So Align Elite is again for people who, and by the way, so people come to one of the biggest reasons people come to us is they see that we're helping people invest and they're making a bunch of money. The market's exploding. It's not hard to make money in the market.
Yeah.
So, but I've turned plenty of people away from this because if you don't, you know, pay off your debt, have a 6-month emergency fund, like I'm not helping you invest. It would be irresponsible for me to do so. So again, once we got to enough people to this point where they're like, oh, what do I do now? And I didn't have a way to serve them, Align Elite was born. So remember I mentioned earlier, there's only 2 reasons to invest as an adult. One is traditional retirement, 59 and a half and beyond. And if you are saving enough money to retire at 59 and a half, you don't need to save any more because if I am 29 and have $3 million in a 401k, that doesn't really help me. I have to, for 30 years, I've got to pay a 10% penalty on every dollar I take out plus 25% tax rate, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, a lot of people are like maxing out their 401k every year for their whole lives, but then they have to work till they're 59 and a half. That's not, some people want to retire before that, me being one of them. So once you filled up that bucket of traditional retirement enough, then every extra dollar then goes towards retiring early. So we have the two buckets. We have Align Elite, which serves people who want to, are investing for retirement traditionally. We charge half of what traditional asset managers charge because it's way easier than it seems, and they really underperform the market, and we still charge half of what they do. The other thing is we help you create passive income. It's literally as easy as you got $10,000. You buy these couple high quality ETFs.
Mm-hmm.
They pay monthly dividends. And if you need the money, you take it out. If you don't, we reinvest it to grow your dividend every single month.
I like that.
And once the dividend gets large enough that it replaces your income, you're done working.
Right.
That's it. That's it.
What's a typical time frame for that?
There's so many variables. So,
okay.
So,
like on an average, I guess.
Yeah. So, so I'll start with this. So we promise, right? We're not CFPs. And if I was a CFP, a certified financial planner, I couldn't promise this, but I promise you, I will make you 12% a year, which is 1% a month in dividends, right? So if you have $100,000, you will make $100,000 invested. You will make $1,000 a month. I guarantee it. Okay. And what we charge is 10% of what you make. If you don't make money, you don't pay us anything. Right. So, and that compounds monthly. So you're making 1% of your investment back every month. Okay. So, let's say you need $5,000 a month to live. Let's just say that, right? That means you need 500 grand invested. Okay. 1% of 500 grand is $5,000. The faster you can get to $500,000 invested, you're done working.
Okay.
So it depends on how much you invest a month, what the time frame is, so it depends on, I can't really answer that question, but it took us a few years. It's really, if you focus on it and you're doing it, you've done everything else. It's not that hard.
About whoever it is. It's all about their discipline.
Well, yeah. And I'm not going to tell you to do this because this is still, you're incurring, anytime you're investing, you incur risk. Although this is extremely risk averse. You have to get out of high interest, crappy debt. Like you got to get your income back. You got to get rid of that. You got to have a 6 month.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, you got to have a 6 month emergency fund so that when you break your leg or your mom dies or whatever that your company goes under, you can pay your bills.
Yeah,
you got to do all that before you ever think about investing in something. And
that
so
makes sense.
Most people never get to that point where they can.
That seems like common sense.
I think it is.
Yeah.
But
take care of your shit, and when you're like all cleared and you're good, then you can invest. Yeah, it sounds like for me, I would be like one of those. I'd be like, let's invest a little bit and try to double it and triple it and whatever, just so I can get some money. But that's not realistic.
No, and that's how you lose money. Certainly people do that in the stock market.
Thank you for telling me
that's called day trading.
And I have a friend who's made $1 million in trading in the last couple months.
Really?
That's not an exaggeration.
Yeah.
He, when United Healthcare went, the stock for United Healthcare went down like 50%. He bought at the bottom and rode it back up.
Dead
Wow.
cat bounce.
Dead cat bounce. He does know his stuff over there.
I told you. He's a smart little turd.
But that's not our style.
He's married to my daughter.
Oh, well, good.
Yeah.
Good
I
choice.
forced him to come in.
Now it's starting to make sense. That's why you guys get along so well.
That's right.
At least on camera. But no, if you want, it's not an if, it's a when you will be financially independent with us. It's not an if.
Right.
And we take all the if out of it as much as we possibly can to make it so it's just a matter of time and intention and compound interest where you're done. And so most people never get to the point where they can say, this day I'm done.
Okay.
Most people never get to that. But with us, you absolutely will. It's like not even a question.
So there's hope.
No, there's absolutely hope.
That's not what you're saying to me.
Oh, there's hope.
You're saying there's a chance. No, that's good, man. I really like that. We'll tell you, I've always kind of been, I'm a photographer. Okay.
Cool. Yeah.
And I'm like subject to, when you start saying you're a photographer and all that, you start getting all this stuff in your feed and everything, the algorithm, and you start seeing all these master classes, this and master class that. Yep. And I bought into one time, and I have a buddy of mine who bought into one, but so there's people I have on both sides of the coin. They're like, but for me, I was like, I got kind of like, I didn't get the one my buddy got. He, I paid money and I got kind of the bullshit. you know, which a lot of these, and I don't know how you feel about that. I know that you have, like you said, you've got your, is it a master class? Is that what you call it? Or
so so the company is called Align Money Mastery.
Okay.
And it's called that because we believe in alignment, right?
Right.
What
right.
are your goals? And then we help you align your dollars. It's super simple.
I guess I'm just saying, like, there's shysters out there.
Oh my gosh. And that makes it so much harder for us to help people because
Right.
people have gotten screwed over umpteen times. And, you know, every time I'm doing a TikTok live, inevitably there's someone in the chat saying, just sell your course, bro. You know, like, so the problem is we're actually helping people, but those people that give coaching type programs, or like I should stop calling it coaching, but I don't know what else to call it. Like we're just helping people with like tried and true, and it's like it costs you $100 to start working with us, and if you don't like it, you just log in, click that little login button, and push stop. That's all. So there's no long-term commitment. Like we have agreements because I want you to feel protected. I want to protect us for the investing piece. But online coaching, you click a button, you say sign up, I send you an email, you do all these things, and then you meet with us. If you hate us, just turn it off.
No, I love that, and you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah,
There's
absolutely.
Guys that learn a little bit of something, or they bought a course themselves.
That's the pyramid.
That taught them how to then do the pyramid or the course themselves.
Well, that's what the course is how to build.
It's like come to my page and do this 5-question survey, and then you know. And
no, this is investing in the S&P 500. This is
right. No, and so. I'm just like kind of letting you know why it took me so long to kind of get you back out here on this.
Well, that's good to know. I got to look less shiesty. Maybe it's the hair.
No, it's not you. It's definitely me.
I guess it's just vetting.
I definitely had to vet you for a while, and definitely.
Oh, that's interesting.
Tell me about
you went
on
process.
When you went on his podcast.
Okay,
I for sure was like, okay, you know, I watched. I was like, oh, he's a real dude. You know, like. 'Cause you worry about these things, and like,
I rightfully so.
And I'm like, I'm bringing these people in my house.
Yep.
I'm like, I got to be careful. I don't want to have you come on here and then just be like, just selling a fucking master class. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which you're not. So I'm really happy that, you know,
were you still worried when I was on my way over?
No. No. When we were talking back and forth a little bit, our correspondence between, you know, when we first started setting everything up, I that went away. You know, it really did. And again, I did. If you sit down and really watch, you know, your like reels, and you can tell that you're very passionate, or I could tell that you're very passionate about this topic, and that you do want to help people. You know, I was going out to the beach for a shoot a couple weeks ago. On a Saturday, and I was waiting on the guy to get there, and I was just sitting there going through, and I was just I was just literally for 2 hours I watched your reels, and I was like,
wow,
wow,
thanks for the engagement.
Yeah, you're welcome. Well, that's something I'll do too.
That's smart though.
I don't have money to help people invest or do anything like that, but you know what I can do, and I can give you time.
Yeah,
that's all I got.
This is great. I'm glad you did that. I mean, that gives you validity as someone who's trying to create a platform and curate a voice. That gives, and I'm a big validity person. Like that's why I've heard in the past, like, oh, you share your numbers, like, oh, you talk about how you're but I talk about this because you would never take dieting advice from someone who's 400 pounds.
Right.
I'm financially fit. I've done this for almost 2 decades now. And because of my repeated efforts teaching exactly what I'm teaching you how to do, I've become a multimillionaire. And so I like to build validity in the market because I think it's so important. And you're doing that. You're vetting people. You before you ever share their voice on your platform. So I completely respect that. I'm glad you did that. It's funny to hear that someone, you know, it's just funny to hear as me, but I'm glad you did it.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm honest to a fault, dude.
I really am too.
But you know, and like I said, I never thought that you were one of those type of people. But I for sure, like it was almost like I got to know you. You know, which is I think that's what social media should be for, is getting to know people and getting to know what they're all about, and you know, and instead of just like shaking your ass on, you know, TikTok and
I do that.
Reel.
I'm just kidding.
Please do. For sure. You should do that. That'll help your numbers go up.
I'm the only.
His channel is called Only Ones.
What does that mean?
I think
only Wong? Like, never mind.
Only Ones.
I thought you
like
said
we're throwing
one.
Like ones.
The ones
like
at
$1
you.
bills.
I'm sorry. I thought you said
pronounced it like that.
Won, like
no.
And then I thought you said Wong, like WON. Never mind.
Only Ones.
No, that would be Wang, I think.
Wang.
You don't
want
Wong. You don't want that.
No.
You're going to lose that. You're not going to get the live. It's going to get shut down.
Yeah.
I did a live on TikTok one time.
Yeah.
And I'll never do it again.
Why?
I can't stand it, dude.
What were you doing? What
first of all, this, but I was by myself, and
Uh-huh.
I was just doing a, just talking about what I do and what the podcast is about, because I'd never addressed that
That audience.
crowd
Yeah,
before.
sure.
And they opened it up now where anybody can go live on TikTok. I don't think you have.
I think
to,
you need 1,000 followers.
I don't have 1,000
So maybe they
followers.
did. Yeah, it took me a long time to get to 1,000.
I know.
Too.
I wish I could get there,
I
but
know.
yeah, I'm not there. But I was just like, let me just see, because I go live on Instagram occasionally.
Yeah.
And I do the same thing, but TikTok is way weird. There's all these things popping on the screen and people jumping in and jumping out. And I got turned out to be like some 15-year-old kid that was talking to me. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And then I hit my vape and they shut it down.
Oh, whoa.
I was like,
good to
what?
know.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I guess can't vape on screen, so I was just like, but I was just like, I was kind of put off because I get like overwhelmed with there's too much things going on.
Last time I did a live, I was like, wait, how do you do this? I was like a boomer, like,
yeah,
it doesn't
totally.
work. But like TikTok and Instagram algorithms are so different. You go live on Instagram and you don't have a bunch of followers. No one's there. No one shows up.
Watching.
And it's not a good live format unless you're a massive person to have a big following.
Sure.
But TikTok, the way it when you're scrolling on the feed, it will show you lives. And so that's different. It's different than Instagram in that way. And I mean, all I do is I put up my numbers and I update them weekly as my background. I say, I'm Bruce, ask me money questions with my stats. Like we have this much in this account.
I never saw you on there.
So I did it almost daily for a solid 2, 3, 4 months in 2024.
Okay.
And I would get off and have hundreds of new followers, have 10 people book an audit with us, a financial audit. And it got to the point where like I had to stop because like the faucet was like running too much. So I had to turn it off.
Yeah.
So I couldn't, like our calendar was full of audits. And then it was also lower quality ones where someone would book and then not show up. And so I added like the text like to confirm, whatever. So I fixed it, but I go on there and people will ask questions and I just answer the questions. I bring them up and they tell me I almost do like live audits basically.
Yeah.
I bring them up and they talk about their question or what they need or whatever, and I give my advice and it just gives free value. But then also I get off and I have a bunch more followers. Some people book meetings, so it's a lead gen tool as well. And I just happen to find that works because it's interactive. And then of course there's the trolls that are like why do you have so much in this? Or like, oh, you should buy insurance or whatever, stupid stuff. Or just sell your course, bro. Like, whatever. Yeah. That doesn't bother me. I could have 100 trolls in front of me and it doesn't bother me.
So you don't,
at all.
Do you read the comments?
Oh, I do. Because that is the live. The live is me responding to people. Yeah, interacting. And the more I lean into the trolls, like the more people come in. Especially like I hate very few things. One is I actually hate MLMs because they steal money from people. The other thing I hate is
what is an MLM for the
multi-level marketing.
Okay,
it's pyramid scheme. Pyramid scheme is MLM. It's the same thing.
I got you.
I hate or I vehemently disagree with insurance salesmen because insurance salesmen sell investments that are insurance products.
Right.
And whenever you take investing and you mix it with insurance and put it together, you get a subpar product for investing and insurance that is expensive. So like IUL, Index Universal Life Insurance policies are the bane of my existence. They're sold on TikTok and everywhere as like the way to build wealth. And they help truly, I would say, less than 3% of the population.
Really?
It's like for me, if I'm a very, very, very wealthy and I've maxed out every bucket, like I'm financially independent now, I've maxed out my pre-tax savings accounts, and I want to find another way to hide money that's not really taxable but also creates income. An Index Universal Life Insurance policy could be an option. Like the Rockefellers, they did that, right? So it's people who are blowout wealthy who need to find places to stash money that creates an income but hides it from taxes. So that's where that tool is really beneficial. But it's sold to people like us in this room that is like the way to build wealth.
Right.
And the way they sell it is based on fear. All insurance is transference of risk.
Right.
You have car insurance because I'm transferring the risk to the company that if I get in a car accident, I don't have to pay the Kia back for my whole car.
Yeah.
Insurance is transferring risk. That's all it is. And insurance cost is based on how much risk you're transferring. So if I have two people, one is 40 years old, one is 20, who's a higher risk driver?
Right.
Why is 20-year-old car insurance more expensive? That's exactly right. Insurance is transference of risk. So when you take insurance, and that's how insurance is sold. Oh my, what if you get in a car? What if you lose your wedding ring? You want to insure that. It's insurance is sold on fear. Index universal life insurance is sold on fear of losing money in the stock market. So in April, they were out in force when the market was down 20%. It was an amazing opportunity for investors, but they're like, oh, you're going to lose your 401ks, and the news is, so people buy into this stuff because they don't understand the stock market, and they find someone they trust who works for Primerica, and they sell them this terrible trash
I've heard
product.
that name before.
Yeah, you want to avoid those guys generally.
I had them in my house once.
Oh,
back when I was married, we had a guy come.
Oh, yeah, Primerica.
Then they tried to get me to work for him.
How do we get?
I don't know. Sorry.
No, I forget why I started talking about IULs.
You didn't talk about the really good one.
Oh yeah, two things I hate: MLM and IUL.
The really good one is that Ponzi one, right? That's a.
But I mean, yeah, Mr. Ponzi himself.
Hey-o.
Yeah, sorry, that was a little.
What about BNPL?
BNPL is an example of use of leverage.
Buy now, pay later.
Yeah,
Thank you.
BNPL.
Don't be coming in here with acronyms. All right, I'm stupid.
We're speaking our own language.
You are. I'm gonna go step out for a minute.
Yeah, we need some time alone. Turn the lights down. No, hold on a second. No, BNPL stands for buy now, pay later. And so the first one of these, I believe, was called Klarna. They might not have been the first, but they're very prevalent. Now there's Afterpay. There's all sorts of companies and apps, and PayPal got into the business. So basically, if I wanted to buy this Coke at the point of sale, I can, instead of buying the Coke, I can split it into 4 payments, and they're interest free.
Right.
And so, I don't buy the Coke directly. You pay for the Coke, and then I pay you back for the Coke. That's how I buy it. It's essentially an interest free credit card.
Interesting.
It splits purchases into 4 smaller payments.
So as long as you make those payments on time.
Yeah. So if you don't make the payments on time, you get hit with like 50% interest and fees, and so buy now, pay later is a useful tool, because in our I keep now wanting to not say coaching, but the way we teach, we are pro use of 0% interest financing, as long as you're doing it responsibly. Like for instance, we budgeted like $6,000 one month to go buy a patio furniture. Okay. And so we show up at Rooms To Go, and they're like, oh, well, you can put it on this credit card and pay no interest for 80 months. I'm like, yes. So all I did was I auto paid $90 a month for the next 80 months, and it'll be paid off with 0 interest.
Right.
And that $6,000 that I had, I took it and I invested it, and it's making me money every single month. So that's use of leverage. Leverage is just a fancy word for using debt to purchase something, but buy now, pay later is an example of using leverage to purchase something that you can split payments over, so you hold on to the money a little longer. The problem is people get in trouble because they're you can buy now, pay later a Chipotle burrito.
Oh yeah.
So you on the app.
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. We're in
Florida.
We're in Florida. You can click a button and split your Chipotle burrito up into 4 equal payments.
Get the fuck out.
I swear. So people that can't afford things, people are putting groceries on buy now, pay later.
Oh
People are putting burritos, fast food, DoorDash on buy now, pay later. And if again, to the beginning of this, if you don't pay attention to your finances, you don't use discipline, and pay attention in general, you have 50 buy now, pay laters, and you're overdrafting your checking account, and then you get hit with the fees.
Well, and the thing about it is, when you do use credit like that, I know it's important to have credit, like you said, but when you use credit, a lot of people, me included, when I was 18 years old, I got a credit card for $7,500.
Yeah.
Which was like the bank, it was Compass Bank. They signed me up for the overdraft, and I guess they do a credit check.
Sure.
And it came back, and the lady goes, I don't even have a credit card for this much, and you're only 18. Like, you should get this. So I
would have stopped listening to her when she said she didn't have it. Right.
Well, I'm stupid, and I was like, really? Okay.
Yeah.
And so I got it, and it was just like I just maxed it out.
Yeah.
And, I had a little trust fund from my grandmother, and I was like, hey, I need help. And she paid it off. I did that 3 times. And that was all my college money was gone at that point. So I kind of learned a little bit of a lesson, but it's like when you're like, it's just credit, it's not real money. So I still have my whole paycheck, and then you're like double fucked, because you're like, oh, now I owe all this money and I got none because I've spent it on, I don't know. It's just a weird thing. And I hate credit, but unfortunately, we're in a situation these days where it's like you said, everybody's kind of have to use it.
You have to.
You kind of have to.
Some jobs do a credit check. Like the job that I have now, I have a corporate American Express card. They did a credit check on me. the card is in my name. If there's a late fee, I have to pay it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even jobs now require a certain credit score. We've had customers who, if they don't pay this thing off by this time, they could lose their job because their credit score drops. It's a pervasive thing. And I mean, I think if you have good credit, it's like a superpower. Like you can go, like I haven't talked about this. We talked about off camera a little bit, but during 2020, in response to the pandemic and them printing a bunch of money, as we talked about before, the Federal Reserve, in order to stimulate the economy, also lowered interest rates to 0%, which made mortgages 2 to 3%. Because it's about 3% above
the gray area.
Yeah. So I had an 8 whatever credit score, doesn't matter, and so I started doing what's called house hacking. I lived in a house and I bought another house and I made the one I was living in a rental. And the mortgage I got on that second house was 2.5%. And so I have about $1.8 million in real estate debt that is against $2.8 million in homes, 6 homes, that is all financed below 5%. And in 2022 or 2021, 2022, 2023, inflation was above 5%, all 3 of those years. So the debt that I had financed is at a lower rate than inflation. So the bank is holding the bag for the value of the money, because I borrowed at this percent. The value of the debt dropped 9%, right? And they only made 5% interest. So the reason I bring this up is if you have good credit, you can do that kind of thing, right? So it gives you opportunity. It's a tool to glide through life where you have the lowest interest rates possible. You get 0% financing. Like it gives you breathing room, but also if you want to buy a house, you gotta have a credit. Dave Ramsey talks about like manual underwriting. Man, you can do it, but it really sucks. Like there are companies that do it, but good luck trying to find a competitive rate, I think. And so you just have to have it, like you said. It's a necessary, and it's just like any other skill, any other piece of your world. When done well, it helps you. Your health, your money, your credit score, relationships, things like that.
100%. I hate it, but it's part of life, folks.
Yeah.
Gotta have it. Well, I would ask you where your business is going, but you kind of already talked about that.
Yeah.
Like where you're headed in your life, like
yes, so
getting ready to retire, I guess, in 4 years.
Yeah. So
Align with yourself.
Align will be the main focus.
Right.
So I want to. We also started, and this is kind of funny. We started Align and our charity. I haven't talked about this yet. At the same time. So the charity is called the Ascend Project, and this would be a worthy story to tell. It's something
we love charities.
It's something close to me. But the problem is, we started Align and the charity at the same time. Align blew up, and the poor charity has gotten no love. In fact, I don't even have a bank account open for it yet. But so it'll be Align and the charity. So like I said, we have a 501c3. It's actually registered with the federal government. We're all legit. But it's called the Ascend Project, and it is about replicating the ascent from where you start to where you want to end up. And it was really inspired by my paternal grandpa, Dale Breedlove, who grew up as one of 14 in West Virginia, downtrodden, poor as heck. And he lived the American dream. He worked his ass off. I remember when I was a kid, well, he went through the Air Force, served the country, got the GI Bill, got some education, started working as a pipe insulator for a company in Ohio, and would travel around and get up at 3:30 in the morning and go to really hot areas or really cold areas and insulate pipes. He did that for his entire life, and he worked his ass off and ended up buying a beautiful 40-acre farm in Uniontown, Ohio, and lived the American dream. And so where he was born into destitution with a bunch of siblings to where he ended up is that ascent, right? And then because of my parents' choices that they didn't make well, I started sort of where he did, and then have achieved success through hard work. So it's that ascent, that like daily choice that you make, that the rent is due and you show up. And you mentioned this earlier, like I've had people that have helped me. I hope the charity is to give opportunities for kids who have all of the unteachable things, the work ethic, the desire, the intention, a leg up, specifically through scholarships or professional training or anything. And we'll weave we'll weave money stuff into that too. But the way it's going to be structured is it'll be sort of an endowment where, let's say you want to invest or not invest. talking about investing too much, donate, $5 to the charity. That $5 will get invested the way we do in a line, and the dividends that it creates will get paid out. The investment itself will live forever. So it's like you're putting a brick into this thing we're building that will help people forever. So it's never going to be something that like, we're donating all the money and we just want to get it away. We're building something that will live well beyond us, where anyone that donates money, it will get invested, and the dividends that it kicks off will get given out as scholarships or professional training or vocational training, whatever. That's the vision for it. We just don't have time to build it.
I feel that it takes a lot, from what I understand. But you hear about it a lot, like some of the older charities or what have you, these foundations or whatever, some of the older ones, like, we won't name names, but they're still asking at the grocery stores and other places if you want to donate $1. A lot of most of that money does not get to the place that it's supposed to get to.
It's shocking to me.
So I mean, like, I can only imagine. I know that ultimately money and power, it can corrupt. People say
has
that.
For thousands of years.
Yeah. And when you see something is making a killing, oh my God, look at all this money coming in here, but we got to take it. All this is supposed to go to that. Well, I got to have this, and this, and this, and this person here, and this person here, and then they got to make this much. So we got to pull that out. And most of it goes to staff, and which I get, you got to pay staff. But if you're doing a charity, do you really need a $350,000 CEO, CEO or whatever?
Well, a lot of it stems from, in my opinion, living within your means.
Yeah, and we've come full circle again.
Yeah. Yep. And so it's like you amass all this wealth.
I feel attacked right now.
This is actually an intervention. We've known each other for a while.
Yeah, we've been planning this.
Did my mom send you?
Oh yeah,
but they amass all this wealth. They get all this overhead, and then things start downsizing and not planning as they want it to be. But then they have to keep in the profit. They have to rake it in. So. I don't know. It's just so disingenuous when you start mixing these charities and profits and people's livelihoods wrapped up around that,
Yeah, it gets corrupted and then,
Wounded Warrior Project, I think 95% goes to.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
The organization, 5% goes to give.
Yeah, I mean United Way, Catholic charities, they're all it's all. You have to file a yearly report, and the bigger ones, you better believe there's lots of data out there and that it's published. You can see how much donation went to the person. You give $20 for clean water in Africa, 10 cents gets there. Right. I'm not donating to that. Like I donate my time in other ways, and I'm creating something that will never be that way. Because that's the thing. I don't need it. Yeah. That's the best part. Like I want to build something that helps people, that is beyond reproach for how the mission cannot be sullied. And I would say a lot of them start out that way. And how do you build something? The shirt sleeves thing that we talked about. How do you build something that, beyond your ability to be part of it, lives out that mission? I haven't figured that out yet.
No, I don't think anyone in history has, because you can have the strongest ethics in the whole wide world, but when you're gone, you better damn well make sure someone's there to carry on your legacy the same way.
It's a big conversation.
It really is. That's a
Well, and it doesn't even have to be charity now. Like with example, OpenAI. They were supposed to be open source, all of this data and everything, but that's totally opposite of that.
Yeah, so, and they're talking about going private and selling.
Too, really?
Yeah, make it. Yeah. Yep.
Huh.
This would be the S&P 501.
0.1. Jeez. Well, we are getting to the point where it's almost 6:30. So.
Oh wow. Man, it kind of went fast.
Yeah, 2 hours. 2 hours. I mean, it goes by quick. Like I said, I could do this all day.
Yeah,
I could, but I mean, I do have to, like we talked about earlier, just go and I've got to relieve the valve.
Well,
drain the snake.
Yeah, I think this is empty. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I think we killed a pot of coffee in here, man.
We did.
Oh,
it's
my
good.
God.
It's really hitting today. Yeah. So this is great. I mean, thank you.
No,
this
thank
is
you.
Like I think. I feel very confident. I've never been on a better put together production.
Be careful.
And it's always tough. I try to go on as many of these as possible. I have not, because I've been too damn busy. But like,
it's hard.
Your ability to ask questions. You say you don't plan it ahead of time. You're good at this. I will say you actually are really good at this. Not that I expected anything else, but like I'm just have to tell you, you're good.
It's like one of those things. It's a developed skill, but I still have a lot to learn. I do. It's a never ending thing, because you know, I like talking to people like I'm just a real dude. I'm just a guy that bought some microphones and some cameras and put this shit together. Anybody could do this.
Yep.
Like what you said, you know, like having financial freedom, anyone can do it. You know, I can teach you if you just sign up, click the link below on my YouTube for the masterclass. Kidding. No, but anybody could do this shit. It's not hard, but it's just a, you know, learned skill, I guess. And, you know, I enjoy watching your other podcasts that you've been on. And so I don't want to take anything from my podcast. You know, I'm not like, I ain't shit. So, but thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
I appreciate
I mean it. I mean it. I've been on a lot of these. So this is great. I'll come back anytime.
Do you have your own?
No, with what time? I would love that, but no, I need to build something like this in my house where, again, someone can come prompt me. I can just, like, you know, like PBD does on the PBD podcast channel. They'll do, you know, they just book him out for 3 hours and they'll sit him down and show him videos and then he just reacts to it. I could do that all day long.
Yeah.
Or just, you know, chat GPT, the top 10 like most Googled financial topics. And I could go punch for punch and make content about it, you know, based on my point of view of what I believe is the best way to manage money. I just don't have the time. And so I need to do it, but I have to have help once we get to that point.
Listen, man, Elon Musk has a lot of shit.
He does. He's got 24 kids and 24 businesses, and he's the richest man in the world. 500 billion. 500 billion.
Isn't that crazy?
First half a trillionaire that exists.
I think that was last week, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Every day I'm just like, can you do anything else, fella? And now they've got the phone that's coming out.
My father-in-law's really looking forward to that.
I'm thinking
he's watching.
I might buy that.
Wait, who's making a phone, Musk?
Musk, yeah.
I don't know.
I thought OpenAI just announced too that they were.
No, well, his is it's based on like Starlink.
Yeah.
So you can get reception anywhere.
Yeah.
In the
Starlink
world.
is awesome.
I thought if he said he was going to make a phone, that something wrong happened.
Oh, well, he's coming after, like, the ad that I've seen is like Apple should be nervous or iPhone should be nervous or some shit like that. But it's like the phone costs like $600. Mm-hmm. It can do everything that Apple does. Plus, it's got solar charging.
Oh, wow.
Plus, dude, I'm like, he's one of those guys that like sees what everybody's doing. He's like, I could do it better, and just fucking does it.
So one of the big differences about him, I mean, he's brilliant and his work ethic is beyond reproach. But there's this concept called signal versus noise. If you watch PBD, they talk about this. So signal versus noise is the ability of one to be so focused on something that you focus on the signal, right? What gets me to the next point, and filter out the noise. Like, what percentage signal and noise are you? Elon is 99% signal, 1% noise. Right. And the 1% is when he's shitposting on Twitter and part of Doge. But like, you know, again, he's taught me that you can be more signal than noise, and the noise is the part that holds you back.
Yeah, I'm more noise than signal. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, you put your social media apps away, so you're probably better at it than me.
I try, dude. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's a full-time job to stay off of it, you know, and it's like you see your family members, like you go home and it's like all you want to do is talk to your, you know, your girlfriend, your significant other or whatever, and they're like playing video games or texting or getting in the comments where they shouldn't be or whatever, and you're just like, what do I do? You know, do I say to stop doing that? You can't do that. You got to let them live their lives, bro.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Anyways, not to end on that note, but seriously, Bruce, I appreciate your time.
Yeah, man. Yeah, thank you for the opportunity.
Very eye-opening, and I could probably think of a million other things to ask you and sound like a moron.
Let's do it. Let's do another one.
Yeah, for sure. We'll do a part 2.
Yeah, I would come on. You know, let's do one where let's try something.
Okay.
Where we pick like 10 topics,
and
just do a PBD style thing where we just, you know, we talk about what's going on in the world, your perception of it, my perception of it, his perception, and just go through it and put it up and see what happens.
Yeah, I'll be like, what is that guy, the average Joe or whatever that was in the news so much, or the plumber guy or whatever?
Oh, that was like Joe. That was a while ago.
Yeah,
that was like what 2014.
This is how much I read the news or like stay involved. I don't have no idea. I just know that there were like some dude that was like a hard working dude asked this question and it went everywhere.
It went uber viral.
Yeah, like, but that's me.
Giga viral.
I'm just like, I'm just like, Dad. I'm like the everyday dad, basically. That's it.
And that's a viewpoint of the majority of America, to be honest, man.
Yeah.
So you have a very valuable point of view.
Maybe.
Whatever's left over, I think he's got it. And then the little bit that's left, I
The problem is, and I keep saying this not to be, self-deprecating, but I am kind of a moron when it comes to certain topics. Like, there's just things I don't think about.
But think about the comedy. Like,
I'm sure.
The Wang versus Wong thing. I mean, just a few hours of that.
I had a little sweat on the back of my neck for a minute.
What do you mean you don't know what geopolitics is?
Like, why are you bringing up Wangs, Pat?
Yeah,
Come on,
really.
this is a serious podcast. He's going to clip this out, okay? All right, bud. Well, again, thank you so much. Give everybody your socials to the camera so we can get a hold of you.
Again, I don't do as much social as I need to, but just go to our website.
He's got a lot of content up there, guys.
AlignMoneyMastery.com. That's a great place to start. When you go here for the first time, there's going to be a little pop-up that says book a free financial audit. I promise you it's free. And it's up in the right corner there. That's the best way. Like if you've been interested at all in anything I've said, that's the best way to get a hold of us. We put our availability out there. If you book a meeting, it'll be with us. I promise you it will cost you nothing. That's my Instagram. I was supposed to be The Real Bruce Lee, but it was taken. And the guy tried to extort me out of money to get it from him. So I'm That Real Bruce Lee. We have an Aligned Money Mastery Instagram and TikTok. I really don't post on there much. It's mostly my profiles. But, I copy post everything. I repost clips and we'll have a lot from this one. Or just I'm on Facebook. Google me. Like I'm all over the place. My LinkedIn. Like just reach out. My phone number is, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna say that. But and my social is no.
Yeah.
But no, I'm everywhere. Like if you want to get a hold of me, it's not hard to do so.
Yeah, you
so
can.
I'm all over the place.
And it's not an easy name to forget. So Bruce Breedlove.
Yep.
I mean, that's just like for a second, I'm like Breedlove. It's like you could be like what's that guy? Shit. He always plays these type of characters. It's like not a bad guy.
Hold on, don't help him. Don't.
No. It's Sam something or other.
I got the dial-up tone in my head right now.
Yeah, fucking same. Anyways, whatever. It doesn't matter. But the name sounds cool. It's like something you would see in a movie. Is basically what I was trying to say. It's like
I'm gonna blow your mind, and you're gonna think I'm lying, but my middle name is Lee, so I'm Bruce Lee Breedlove. And so
that is crazy.
Whoa. It was my grandpa's name. It was my dad's name, and I'm a second actually. So I'm Bruce L. Breedlove. Bruce Lee Breedlove.
And
second.
What was that? Oh, shit, I'm going to start a whole nother podcast on your name. Well, I mean, like it wasn't like inspired by Bruce Lee, was it? It just
no.
happened?
It's just the way it happened.
Just happened.
That's the original.
Yeah,
I got you.
He's the original Bruce Lee.
They still call me Bruce. There was a movie called that. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Go follow Bruce Breedlove and sign up for Aligned Money Mastery if you need it, which I know you do. I'm going to probably sign up very, very soon. So, and don't forget to follow us and subscribe to our YouTube channel that you're watching right now. And, you'll get every time we upload or go live, you'll know. Hit the little bell and it'll give you the instant notification. And you can follow us on Instagram. It's the Graybeard Podcast. On TikTok, we are Graybeard Productions because I do all kinds of stupid stuff on there. But thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.